Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, Spiritual Vitamins with Lauren Keys. I'm back, y'all. I'm back. I'm blessed. God's good to me. He's so good to me. He's forever good to me. I love him. I love him so. I took a while putting a video out. I know. So, I was in Rhode Island. That took up some time of mine. I went to go visit some family, right? I had a beautiful time. Came back a few days later and ended up injuring the left side of my face. So this beautiful Nubian queen could not get on camera to deliver a message until I somewhat healed, okay? So thank God for a little bit of cover up to be able to, cover that little spot up, but I'm still blessed. I didn't want to hold out the word any longer. So you're probably going to see me do videos back to back because God has been giving me word throughout these past few days, but I wanted to heal. Okay. So that took up a lot of my time. And as I mentioned, I was in Rhode Island, my hometown, visiting family on vacation, but I am back now, ready to be about a good work. So, you know how we do on this channel? I'm going to get right into it. And God gave me the snake spirit. The snake spirit. That's what we do over here. We expose hell, right? The devil's going to get his hands off of God's people, and God's people are going to be delivered. Okay? God's people are going to be set free. I don't care who it is. I don't care who you are, right? We're all imperfect people. All of us are, right? That's why Jesus had to die on the cross. But some people need to be purged of a lot of stuff, healed of a lot of stuff, because it's keeping you out of heaven. I'm telling you, it's that heart. You got to get that thing clean. You got to get it right. All right? So God gave me the snake spirit. Let's talk about this snake spirit. So God blessed me with a poem. This poem was read to me many, many years ago when I was in my early 20s. Pastor Dallas in Baltimore, Maryland, read it to the congregation. I was blessed to be a part of that congregation in those days. And she had read the poem, The Snake. And I never forgot that poem. And then years and years later, here I am now. I'll be 43 years old this year. And God brought that poem all the way back years later. And he says, read this to my people. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. The Snake. This isn't a poem of mine, obviously. This poem was written by the famous Oscar Brown Jr., civil rights activist. He was a singer of jazz, all that good stuff. Wonderful, powerful black man back in those days. So bear with me, guys. I'm going to go ahead and read this poem to you. And I just want you to listen closely and let this resonate. And then I'm going to break down some examples of the snake spirit. So let me go ahead and go on with this. On her way to work one morning, down the path alongside the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor half-frozen snake. His pretty colored skin had been all frosted with dew. "Oh, well," she cried, "I'll take you in and I'll take care of you." "Take me in, tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, tender woman," sighed the snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by the fireside with some honey and some milk. She hurried home from work that night, and as soon as she arrived, she found that the pretty snake she'd taken in had been revived. "Take me in, tender woman, take me in. For heaven's sake, take me in, tender woman," sighed the snake. She clutched him to her bosom. "You're so beautiful," she cried. "But if I hadn't brought you in, by now you may have died." She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed and held him tight. Instead of saying thanks, the snake gave her a vicious bite. "Take me in, tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, tender woman," sighed the snake. "I've saved you," cried the woman, "and you've bitten me. Why? And you know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die." "Oh, shut up, silly woman," said the reptile with a grin. "You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in. Take me in, tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, tender woman," sighed the snake. "Take me in, tender woman. Take me in. Take me in, tender woman. side, the snake. Probably couldn't read it as good as him. I'd never been too much into poetry, although I like listening to it. But anywho, that poem is a very, very deep poem. And when you get a chance, look up that poem and read it for yourself. All right? It's by the famous poet Oscar Brown Jr. So God brought me to my sermon book and I began to write. And I was burning this pad up. And he had me name this sermon, The Snake. Right after that poem, The Snake. To all the good-hearted people out there, you can forgive, but you must use wisdom and start loving people at a distance. A lot of people that you call yourself trying to understand and comfort has a snake spirit working in them. And until they are purged and healed of this snake spirit, they are dangerous. These people are already aware that you knew exactly who they are. They don't care, nor do they plan to change. These people have a way of putting on a front to be highly likable, warm, engaging. A person without spiritual discernment can't see what is behind the act and are easily fooled. A person with a snake spirit act like they are your friend when really they are only getting close to you to gather information for your enemies. These snakes play both sides. The snake constantly watches your moves. And when I say constantly, I mean constantly. Constantly watches your moves so they can report it back to your enemies. A snake will make a pact with your enemies and say, I promise not to say anything. This can stay between a handful of us. Y'all, people are sneaky. People are sneaky, and that's what snakes are. Slithery. Sneaky. That's why they usually forbid snakes being in your house in the Christian world, because I could get into that another lesson, but it's something spiritual, right? And a lot of people, oh Lord, this is another lesson. Oh God, another lesson. But some pets are familiars, but we won't get into that. We'll talk about that another lesson. Let's stay on track here. But a lot of people that you know are activating in the snake spirit, and you have to be aware of that, okay? They get close to you, they charm you, and they will bite you. And they already know you know that about them. They know you know that. But people of God, we try so hard, you know what I mean, to follow the law of love in the Bible, because God commands us to, and we want to be a reflection of him, right? But you also have to use wisdom. And use wisdom and love at a distance. You have to guard the heart. That is also a command. You have to guard the heart. See, people may think that you switch up and then they look at you like, oh, well, you were never too real with me to begin with, to be able to just walk away from my friendship or go silent and cold on me. No. People don't just do that. There's nothing wrong with people of God. We saw something. That's what that is. We saw something. And the problem why, people of God, that's what I'm speaking to right now. The people of God, the reason why your snake and your enemies all play against you and they come together is because, one, they don't think that you are who you say that you are. They don't know you from a can of paint, really. They don't. You know what I mean? They just know what they think they see, right? But they don't think they know that you are who you say you are, right? They think that you being a child of God is an act. They think that you being that you don't have a prayer life. They think you don't have any kind of life with God, right? Because they see you maybe in the evening time, at your off time. Some of these people have access to your personal life, like you're not supposed to have one because you're a walker with Christ. We have personal lives too, and we're allowed to. You know what I mean? But they think if they see that, then that's something that they could hold against you. So that's what they do. These snakes work with your enemies to justify why they're so evil towards you. All snakes and all enemies need justification so they don't feel bad for being nasty. So they don't feel bad for being evil towards you. They have to do that. Okay? But a lot of the times, your snakes and enemies can be cowards. Because what happens is they let ego get the best of them. They know they need to make it right, and they know they need to apologize because you were stank and you were cold and your actions were not necessary. Your nasty, cold-hearted words were not necessary, right? But the ego doesn't let people admit that. And what they do is they use that, they know, but they don't know. They use that to their advantage, right? They think that people who have gifts, especially seers, they play games with them. You know what I mean? Even if they do know it, they have no proof. That's a dangerous thing to do. You're headed to hell. Okay? You're headed to hell, whether somebody has proof of what you did or not. Whether somebody has proof of what you did or not. They know, but they don't know. They probably can see it, but they don't have proof. So we should be good. You're going to hell. What's okay with that? You need to change your rotten heart. Whoever it is out there that thinks this is cute, to think that it's a game to play with people like that. It is not. You have to get it right. You have to get it right. You do. I just thank God so much. I thank God so much for mercy, and I thank God for grace. I really do. But I also thank God for spiritual discernment, and I thank God for the heavy gift of it. People with spiritual discernment are not, especially seasoned ones, they're not walking around making it obvious that they know what's going on. They don't do that. They don't have time for that, okay? We speak on things when God gives the okay to go ahead and do so. You know, there's a certain time for everything. There's a time to speak, and there's a time to sit back and listen to God. There's a time to observe, and then there's a time to go ahead and speak on what you observed. You see what I mean? There's an order in the spiritual realms, okay? And again, I don't care who doesn't believe all this stuff. It's more real than what you think it is, okay? It's very real. So, let's pray. Anybody who's dealing with a snake spirit, you can be forgiven for that, all right? Jesus sees everything. Yes, we're only mere humans, but Jesus can see everything. And he has power over death, hell, and the grave, okay? He has the last say-so over your soul. So even if you don't think humans can see what they see, Jesus can, right? So you may want to get it right with him instead of being cozy in it, because it just makes you feel good for the day, right? Whoever it is out there, I don't care where you are. Purge that heart. Okay? Purge that heart. God is not a God that looks at the outward appearance as man does. Y'all look at what you see on the outside. God is a God that looks for what's on the inside. Okay? I went over my time. I was really only going to be on here for like 7 minutes, but I'm a little bit over my time. I'm going to get out of here, okay? Until next time, I love you guys so much, and stay prayed up in Jesus' name. And I'm going to be coming up with videos back to back, because throughout these past days, I have been getting so much word, but I don't want to cram it in. It's going to be tough to digest all of that. So I'm just going to be doing videos pretty much back to back every other day or so. Okay? I love you guys. God bless you.